Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. We got the Snoop Dogg in the house. That's Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspections, coming up. We're going to talk about commercial real estate here as well. Before we do, I want to thank one of our sponsors. We've got Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show, Steve and Elisa Gunnan. They own a awesome company, Replenish IV Solutions. They'll come to your home and inject you with the Myers cocktail. You got these directly into your bloodstream, so you're getting vitamins, nutrients right into your bloodstream. I'm going down there just after the show here today. ReplenishIVSolutions.com, ReplenishIVSolutions.com, Gandy location, Carrollwood location, and others. Longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. As you know, I am a Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment Realtor, KWSE, and we like to feature our real estate listings live on air. We got a hot listing here on Linda Street. This is South Linda. A great South Tampa opportunity to buy and own a beautiful corner lot location, 1,900 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, over a quarter acre of land. Got an updated kitchen and bath, motivated seller. 6504 South Linda Street in Tampa. Beautiful property, and you can see that property on our website, as well as this one, 2817 Gulf City Road. This is a vacant land development play, so we do commercial real estate, we do vacant land, and also residential, by the way. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin, Florida. This one's 23 acres. Land that can be developed, and it's beautiful opportunity, subdivided into multiple lots. You could put a boat dock out there, potentially deep water access into the Gulf of Mexico, build some townhomes, some condos. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin, Florida. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. Buy some dirt.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
All right, Jay Smith back in studio. Welcome in, sir.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, man. What's new in your world?
What's new? Just running around. I mean, I was in Dade City, just running around the different places.
Yep.
Try to slow down just a little bit.
The beard's looking good, by the way.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
I need a little trim. it at all, or does it keep growing?
I actually might get a trim this afternoon.
You get the little dead ends off of it. It'll keep it.
Get the scraggly ones cleaned up, and plus I don't like my hair too long on the top, so
there you go.
Got to get that done. So
Good.
I'm actually see if I can get appointments this afternoon.
Awesome, good stuff, man. All right, so we got A Snoop Inspection in studio here. We talk about commercial residential real estate, commercial and residential real estate, and some of these common areas that you see, these common potential issues with either homes or commercial buildings. What do you say on that?
Honestly, the same old stuff in Florida. Roofs. Roof is always neglected. They're going to put it off as long as they can.
Yeah.
Heck, they can have a little leak and they'll try to, seal it up, and then it's leaking again 6 months later. Just putting it off as long as they can. But of course, insurances are dictating more and more when they have to change those.
Yeah.
But I think commercial slides by a little bit more than residential. Like residential seems like, they'll force you. Like, it's 15 years old, we don't want it anymore. Where
Right.
Commercial, I don't think they look at it as hard, but when I'm doing inspections, it's something I've got to look harder at.
In commercial, you see a lot more of these flat roof systems, don't you? Isn't that interesting? Like, why wouldn't you want the water to flow off?
I think it's just the expense of the build that they can do that less expensive, and then they can put AC systems up there easily.
That's right.
All those kinds of things as far as
usable space almost. You think
exactly.
about it. You put that air condenser HVA system.
Same thing. Those flat roofs don't last as long as even a pitched roof, so you got to make sure you're keeping up with them. Otherwise, you end up with hassles.
Let me ask you this, because this is something that came up on a property recent. We had a single family home that is actually Hernando County. It's got a challenge where he bought it from a flipper. The flipper said that he redid the roof in 2014, but there's no permits pulled. What do we do in that type of situation?
Engineer. I can't say all municipalities because everyone's different, so you almost have to contact that county.
Right.
But a lot of the counties will tell you if it's been a while, if you can have an engineer come out, check it out, sign off on it, they'll basically re-permit it with that engineer's information, and then it'll be like you had a permit on it.
Okay.
But you're talking about probably spending $800 to $1,000 to do that, but that's still cheaper than doing a whole new roof.
So it's an after-the-fact type of scenario.
Yep.
Right. So you're doing almost a permit after the fact. but the engineer is going to sign off and say, hey, we inspected it.
County's probably not even going to come out and inspect it at all. You're going to go in, get his documentation, walk into the municipality, basically buy a permit, and they're just going to staple the engineer stuff to it, and it's done. It's gone.
Got it. Okay, good. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And, so roof is a big deal. The insurance industry in the state of Florida has been, under siege in a sense.
Yeah.
We one of our insurance partners, we kind of joked about it. Another one bites the dust. You know that song? What was that, Queen? Another one
Queen.
bites the dust.
Yep.
Like they were going out of business like hotcakes just recently, so that is a challenge right now in residential real estate.
I'm hearing basically another 30% increase across the board for almost everybody.
Wow.
So when you're getting that new bill in, and it goes from $2,100 to $3,000, don't be surprised. I mean, that's kind of the norm. You can still shop it. I don't know how much you can save. I really don't. It's hard to do that. The commercial condos, man, they're even worse. They're getting 80 and 90% increases because they literally only have a few companies to go to for those tall buildings. The short buildings may have some more options, but anything over 3 stories, they're getting killed.
Yeah, wow. And when you think about, this whole industry, it's getting harder. It just seems like the consolidation is happening. Look at the banking industry, right? SV Bank and this other bank I was just talking about on last week's show, First Republic Bank, took a hit as well. You've got a lot of banks, so you see consolidation. And then what happens is consumers pull their money and they say, oh, I better go with one of the big guys, so BOA, Wells Fargo, et cetera. They're going to benefit. Same thing, similar with insurance. You got these smaller companies going out of business. Maybe they weren't keeping up their balance sheets as well as they should have. And that's what, SV Bank, when you look at that, they didn't have that risk manager in position. Unbelievable that a company could not have their risk manager in place for like 8 months, and they just let it slide. But they had their what do they call it?
You would think it had to be 60 days max. How can you go with that person not in place?
But they had their
unbelievable
diversity, equity, and inclusion person in there, and they were focused on that. So my point, though, is with this consolidation is that you see, challenges. You see that homeowners, it's getting harder. Even just a couple days ago, Biden rolled out this new rule: 680 credit score and above. Let's charge you an extra $40 for paying your bills on time, Jay.
I know. It blows my mind. But I was hearing as much as like a 3/4 point difference that they could be paying more, and it's like that just seems it's just wrong. I can't think of it any other way. It's wrong.
Yeah, there's no meritocracy. It's like, hey, you paid your bills on time. You worked hard to keep that credit score high, and then we're going to hit you anyways.
Yeah, and you're really, because that's FHA stuff. So you're really talking about the first-time home buyers. Mm-hmm. So you're the good first-time home buyer doing everything you're supposed to do, and now you're getting charged for it.
Was it one specific loan type, or was it across the board? I don't remember
I heard it was more FHA, but I think we're all trying to figure it out. You know, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It almost sounded like conventional wasn't going to be a part of it, but I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to get them all a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. The more that they can do, and they push the ESG scores as well.
Which, just driving down the middle class even more.
Yeah, it really does. It's a challenge, and you look at, what's going on in that area. So we're talking with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Commercial real estate. I want to play this clip here. You will be surprised about commercial real estate, what's happening. We're setting records. We're setting more records, but it's not good ones.
The number of empty office buildings in America has now reached its highest point on record, as the commercial real estate sector has been rocked by the largest downturn in decades.
Here with more on the cities hit the hardest and what it means for the health of America's economy is Daily Wire's senior editor, Cabot Phillips. Cabot, not the sort of record you want to see broken. What's going on here?
Yeah, when talking about the real estate market, it's easy to focus only on the residential side, but the commercial real estate sector is a hugely important aspect of our nation's overall economic health, and it's in serious trouble. Last quarter, the number of vacant office buildings hit 12.9%, the highest rate on record, exceeding the previous time mark set during the 2008 financial crisis. But some cities have been hit harder than others. 29% of office space in San Francisco now sits vacant. That is easily the highest on record for the city.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, New York City sits at a 16% office vacancy rate. That's also a record high. Chicago is just over 20%, another record high. The list goes on for cities across the country. And that lack of demand is causing prices on commercial real estate to plummet. Nationwide, office building prices have fallen 25% since the start of 2022 alone.
Wow, that much. A bunch of unwelcome records there. So what does this mean for the economy more broadly?
Well, it's important to remember that all that empty office space doesn't just impact landlords who are losing money on their buildings. It means that local restaurants and shops see fewer customers throughout the day, and local governments take in less revenue from property taxes. It's also bad news for the banking industry, which has already experienced a year of turmoil. Commercial mortgages account for almost 40% of bank holdings in the U.S., and while a lot of people might not be too sympathetic towards banks right now, they've now got trillions of dollars tied up in assets that are rapidly depreciating, which could have serious ramifications for us all.
So think about that. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, it impacts a lot. 40%. Some of the big banks have 40% of commercial mortgages on their balance sheets. You've got 12.9% vacancy rates across the United States. Different cities, 29% in San Francisco. Chicago was above 20. So I think this plays into the crime as well. So you've got crime. People, we just saw last week they rioted in Chicago because the Walmart pulled out. They said, no, we're pulling Walmart because we're not profitable. E-commerce, of course, has a big play in that, and then also workforce, working from home.
Well, to use one of the terms that we all know from way back when, trickle down. Right. I mean, that office isn't taken in. The restaurant down the street doesn't have those employees coming in for lunch now. All those places that are just going to get hurt. Now, that could just lead to even more places being vacant in those cities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge, big time. So let's talk about residential. I want to shift gears here. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. We always talk about this pre-inspection as well, Jay. Mm-hmm. So you want to get that pre-inspection done. It's important when you're listing a home to know what the condition is before the buyer finds out all of those other little issues.
Yeah, take care of them early. I mean, we've already talked about the roof, so that's something you always want to get looked at. And not to say anything, we still have more storms that came through last year. You call up and say, the roof's in good shape. Well, have you been on the roof in the last year? Most homeowners don't go on the roof.
Right.
So that should be double-checked to make sure you're in good shape, that there's not any damage anywhere. Even though you may not have a leak, there may be damage. And honestly, electrical panels are still coming up here and there. You still have the old Zinsco and Sylvania panels in a lot of places. They were widely used in Florida and probably across the country, but I know they were widely used here. And then Challenger panels only came onto the list, 5 or 6 years ago. And those panels were installed in houses well into the 90s.
Wow.
So there's houses that haven't had insurance reports done, and homeowners aren't even aware. I mean, I'm not blaming them in the least. I mean, this is just something that's come up in the last couple of years, making insurance harder and harder every single year. And if you can find out about that before, it's much better. I just did an inspection in Dade City yesterday, 1995 house. It's got Challenger panels. Mm-hmm. And the insurance companies they're not too enthusiastic about doing insurance on those houses.
Yeah. Yeah. And now what you have, too, is since the economy or the market shifting, it's still a low inventory market, which is what's great here in Florida. We still have low inventory. Challenging now for sellers, though, is that buyers can be more selective. Buyers can say, hey, I want some of those repair items fixed, whereas 8 to 12 months ago, you wouldn't see so much of that. They'd say, hey, I take it as it is. I'm just happy my offer got accepted.
Yeah, yeah. And luckily, like you were saying, we do have low inventory, and I would especially say, 400,000 and less, that's still a prime market. But once you get the 750 and above, it's probably a little bit more plentiful out there.
Yeah.
And also, they're more willing to put in a $2,500 electrical panel also when you're talking about 750 compared to a $300,000 house.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a big difference there.
Yeah, definitely. Price points, you see the difference there in buyer pool and price points. And, the inventory is still what's interesting to me. And we are seeing price reductions. So sellers that are motivated, they're doing price reductions. Almost any zip code you look at in Tampa Bay, there's a number of price reductions, anywhere from 50 on the low end over to 100 plus. You'll see price reductions. So what happens is those numbers are going to be reported 30 to 60 days from now, and then hopefully not, but potentially you're going to see front page of the paper saying, hey, Tampa Bay property values drop for the first time in X amount. So I think that's why it's important to get on the market now if you're thinking about something.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I think homeowners, unfortunately, a lot of them don't realize that the market's changing. Yep. And then they're thinking about selling, and they think things have still been going up over the last 6 months, and they haven't been. I mean, they've been flat, I would say, over the last 6 months, maybe a hair increase, or even some areas are going to be down.
Yeah, and it's so local, each zip code. All right, Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. How do you want people to connect with you, Jay?
Go to the website, a-snoop.com, so a-snoop.com, or our office is 813-345-2600. We're around, answer any of your questions. Don't forget, we do condos, mobile homes, commercial properties. I've done things like Tampa Skate Park. I've done tractor supply buildings, restaurants, places. All kinds of things. So if you need anything like that, give us a call. And multifamilies. I have multiple inspectors. We do quite a few multifamily inspections for the people that are buying 44-unit, 50-unit, 60-unit complexes.
Yeah.
That we go in and knock those out.
That's awesome. All right, Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, a-snoop.com. Thanks for coming in, my friend.
Cool. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. All right, coming back with Doug Clark, Hours Creole, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Doug Clark with Hours Creole. We're going to talk about his menu, the service industry, and what he's seeing in the economy out there. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.